Joining us today. We are here to talk about our proprietary test management tool called Dokimi, and we're excited to share this with you. My name is Jeremy Stoltzfus. I am a principal technical consultant with RPI. I've been with RPI for about 8 years and focus on implementing Cloud Suite. Presenting with me today is Jackie Dudas.
Hey everyone, my name is Jackie Dudas. I'm a principal HCM consultant and I've been with RPI since 2011. And I'm going to take just a second and talk about how we got to where we are with Dokimi today. So we started Dokimi because we were trying out a few different testing solutions, test management solutions for our different clients and different projects, and none seemed to quite solve all the problems we were having or fit the bill for exactly what we needed. And so we thought, why not create one ourselves that we can manage right within the system? So we're proud of this and we're happy to show you guys what we've got going on right now.
Just to give just a quick high level, and then we're going to actually dive into a demo of the tool. It is our proprietary test management tool. When coming up with a name for the tool, we were kind of brainstorming and randomly just said, hey, what's the Greek word for test? And that is where Dokimi comes from. It actually means to try, test, trial, proof, or rehearsal. And when we read that definition, we thought, wow, that really kind of fits what we want to accomplish. And when we look at our implementation projects and all of the test phases that we go through, we really are doing all of those pieces. Couple key features that are laid out here. It is loaded with our library of all test scripts across all suites and modules. We track progress in real time, so you can see here from the screenshot, we've got completion status, the various statuses that test cases may be into, if there are any issues associated with it. It is integrated. We do have integrated issue tracking along with it. So when a test case has failed, it automatically logs an issue, records that, assigns it to somebody. And like I said, we'll dive into more of those details as we go into the demo. And then of course, dashboards and reports. So being able to see the progress of your testing phase and efforts. The integration, it is built and maintained by us right within Infor Cloud Suite. Gives you a consistent look and feel with the application. Role-based access, we're going to cover today as we go through the demo. We're going to cover what it looks like from an end user perspective, but then also from an administrative perspective. And the beauty of this tool is that this can be continued use post go live. So we have customers that that use it for ongoing training or onboarding of new employees, and also for regression testing. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Jackie and we'll dive right into the demo.
Awesome. So I'm going to share my screen here. And I want to call out that I am going to be the end user. So when you see my screen here in a second with the teal background, that's me as the end user. So when Jeremy switches to his screen, that'll be blue, and hopefully these colors can help us distinguish what role is at view here. So I have logged in as the end user. I am a tester on this project, and I'm here on the Dokimi dashboard looking at the different test phases that we have going on. So the one we're going to focus on today is SIT, but you can see we also have a unit test phase out here as well as a demo test phase. So you're tracking multiple test phases at the same time. And then going forward, if you wanted to track sort of like a training phase, you would create an additional phase here for that training. So quick look at our metrics here. On this overall metrics tab, I can see a nice little pie chart showing where we are with our test scripts for this whole phase, what's complete, what's open, as well as a little bar chart to show the different statuses within those open and closed test cases. I also can see the issue status here. So what's ready for retest, what's not started, and what's in progress. And then another tab that we have available up here is workstream metrics. So the work streams are divided into finance, supply chain, human resources, and then tech. And so we can see each work stream and where they are within the process. Another feature that we have is group metrics. So if you want to slice your work stream, hold on, let me go back here. I was on this tab. So start back up right now. Another feature that we have is group metrics. So if you want to slice your work streams up into different groups, that is available there as well. And then lastly here, I can see all of the issues for this test phase, and I can see what status they're in and who they're assigned to. So as a tester, I'm ready to get in and actually start testing. So I'm going to double click on this test phase, which will open up the whole phase, and it'll show me a few different things. As a tester, I have fewer tabs available to me than the testing admin would. So when Jeremy gets the screen here in a second, you'll see that he has many more tabs as the admin than I do. But as a tester, I want to be able to focus on my testing and keep things pretty simple and concise here. So the first tab that I get defaulted into is the testing schedule. And this is a really pretty calendar view, which shows me at a high level what I have on the docket for each day of our testing phase. For example, today I have these scripts that need to be done either by me or someone else on my team. And there's 56 more. So I know that today's going to be a pretty heavy day of testing. And this allows me to see that high level view of what the whole month or the whole test phase looks like. If I select my open cases, this is where I can see all of the scripts that are available to me based on the team that I'm on. So I'm on a few different teams. I'm definitely within the human resources team. And I'm going to go ahead and filter this test list by scheduled test date. So I've put today into the test date. And if I hit enter, it'll filter back all of the scripts that I need to get done today. This is, you can tell this works just like any other list within the system. And that's one of our favorite things about it is you don't have to learn how to use a test management system in addition to learning this system. If it's new to you, it's going to react the same way, and it's going to have the same types of features and functions that Cloud Suite has inherently. So the first script that I'm going to look at here is GHR 124 is the template ID. The first thing that I have to do to complete this test case is to claim it. So there's other people on my team. This could be available to multiple people in the team. So I want to claim it and say, hey, I'm going to do this test script. The system just lets me know that I'll be responsible for completing it. And once I agree to that, it opens up the test case itself, which has test steps and test data available to me here. So I'm going to pretend that I've walked through these steps and everything is a-okay, and I'm going to go ahead and pass it. So I have the actions up here to pass or fail a test, and I've decided it looks good. I'm going to hit pass. It asks me for comments, but the comments are only necessary if you have questions or if maybe the script needs an edit. That's not the case for this one, so I'm going to hit submit and go ahead and pass it. You can see now that the status has changed to pass, nice green value here, and I'm free to go on to the next script. So I'm going to hit SIT overview using those breadcrumbs to take me back, and I'm back on my open test cases tab. Next one, I'm going to claim this one as well. I'm going to create a working condition type. I've right-clicked at that time and hit claim test. Once I agree to that, it opens up the test case again. And I'm going to pass this one again, and this time I'm going to put comments in. So I'm going to say that there's a misspelling in step 4. Here's a great example of one of the features within the system. So this script is asking me to enter test data values so that I can pass this test script. So what that means, if I close this and cancel this, I can show you. There's this test data tab available to us within the test case. And it's showing that there's data required in order for this test case to be passed or failed. I came out here previously and said that working condition type is a value that must be entered before I can pass or fail the test case. So I'm going to put in environmental as the working condition type, and then I can hit save, and that will fulfill the requirement of the test data before I can pass it. This feature is really important if you're testing, for example, in like an SIT phase, to make sure that you're not terminating the same person that someone else is doing a change pay rate on. So oftentimes we'll see that the employee number is a required test data item so that you can make sure you're keeping those different scenarios separate and not stepping on other testers' toes. Now I'm going to go ahead and submit that comment. It will still change to a pass status. And when we look at it from the administrator view later, Jeremy will be able to show us where that comment landed. Now for the exciting part, we're going to go ahead and fail a test script. So next up, I'm going to take test 514 here. I'm going to claim it to start. And once it loads, I'm going to go ahead and fail this test case. Let's say it failed on step 1, and then I don't have any access to do this script at all. So that's the issue. I will hit submit. Once again, it's requiring my my value here.
Just to chime in there real quick. So this becomes very critical. 2 pieces. Number 1, Jackie's failing this script. And what we'll see here in a moment is that it's going to log that issue. Why we're saying this data value is required is so that we can, as the issue gets created and assigned to somebody can, we've already tracked some of the data elements that are required for us to be able to effectively troubleshoot the issue.
All right, I just put NA in here because for this example, I don't have access to the job menu item. So I fulfilled that requirement by putting NA in there. It will work. It'll allow me to fail this test script. And that means that this NA is not checking against any logic. It's not looking to make sure that that's a valid job code. So it's a nice feature there that allows you to put any value in there if you don't have something to use. So like Jeremy said, after I failed it, we do automatically see the issue get created and linked right within the test case here. So I can click this issue ID and it'll take me over to that issue. There's no updates that have been done to it yet because it just got created and it just got automatically assigned to Jeremy because he is the default consultant for the GHR module. So Jeremy, do you want to take this from the admin side and work this issue?
Sure can. So now as an admin, I have a few more tabs here that are available, but specifically I'm going to focus on this My Open Issues tab. And so this is where I would go if I'm looking at issues, and we can see here issue number 11 that Jackie just created is out here now, and it's automatically assigned to me. I can double click on this and I can open it up and I can review the details of it. I can see, okay, Jackie doesn't have access to job codes, does not appear in menu. If I have a question about the specific script, there is a link that takes me directly to that script that Jackie was just sitting on and failed. So I can review the steps. I can review the data that was associated with it, if anything was entered, if that's relevant at this point. If not, I'm going to go back to this issue and I can say, okay, I figured out what the issue is. This was a security issue. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and mark this issue for retest because I've worked the issue. And I'm just going to put in a note here. I have added the correct security for your user. User, please try again. And I'm going to submit that. Once I do that, the issue has now been marked as retest, and it put this comment down in here, and it added this comment down below. And now that the issue is marked for retest, we'll let Jackie take over again and see what happens next.
Awesome. So in the meantime, I've gone back into my list of open cases. I was working some other test cases, and when I came back here, I see now that this retest status is on that test script. So once Jeremy marked it for retest on the issue, it automatically updates the test script to be in a retest status. So now I can come back here, walk through those test scripts in real time, and then select pass test case and hit submit. At this point, it changes to a pass. And we can see Jeremy's issue comments right here, the latest issue comments right here for us to verify. All right. So if I go back, the next item that I want to show is staging some of those required test data items. So I'm going to open up test case 21 here. And across these tabs, or across the test case here, we have different tabs. First one is steps. These are the actual steps for what you'd be doing in the system. The test data tab, which we saw a moment ago, is where you would set data items up as required or just a place to enter them. So if I want to require that a data item gets entered here, I can say none of these fields are required. So I can leave the step blank, and then I get to type in the actual field name. There's no validation or no checking against that. And then the field value. So I want to make this a benefit deduction code. And then once I hit save, it's saved in there as a value that can be entered, but you can see I had not selected that it's required for pass or fail. So at this point, it could be entered, but it's not required to get that pass fail. But I want it to be required. I want to know what deduction code was created when someone does this test. So once I hit save here, it's going to say, yes, this is required for pass or fail. And as we saw before, if I were to claim this test case and then try to pass it, it's going to give me that error again about needing to fill out those values. Because I filled out the benefit field value here, it automatically let me pass that. The test data is not only good for requiring data entry, but it's also good for prescribing what you want the tester to enter. So if you want them to rehire a certain employee, you can put that field value in there of that employee number, and then they know to go check there and find that specific employee number to rehire. All right, so heading back to the test case list. Next up, I want to show the idea of a business process. So I'm going to take out my date here. What we've looked at so far are kind of individual test cases. However, we can link together multiple test cases to be part of a business process. So I've come out here to find test case 2269, and it is part of a business process. I know that because I can highlight, or I can run my cursor over this I in the description field, and it tells me that it's part of a business process. So if I go click into that, it'll show me a little bit more information. I've clicked the business process tab here, and I can see that in order to complete this business process, which is called OC Health assignment or occupational health assignment, these 3 separate scripts have to be done. So Jeremy completed the first one for me, and now it's my turn to come in and set the appointment for this OC Health component. This is really helpful when you have scripts that span different work streams. So maybe you're doing a hire, and as part of the hire process, a requester needs to be created on the FSM side. So you can link together scripts from across work streams to have a whole business process be completed here. So if I were to complete this, once again, I would claim it, submit it, and then I can pass it. And it'll show then that the business process percentage increases here another 1/3. And then it's up to whoever else is down the chain of the business process to complete the next part. All right, if I go back to my SIT overview here. One of the last things I want to show is a step that can't be completed yet as part of a business process. So if I go back to filtering by today, and I can see 2399 is here. It is part of a business process, but it has this red exclamation point here. And if I hover over that, it tells me it's not ready to test. So let's go in and look at that and see why it might not be ready to test. And it looks like we have this nice alert at the top saying this is not ready to test because a predecessor script has not been completed. So in order for me to be able to approve the address request, someone has to change their address first. And that step has not happened yet. So I know that I can't do this test until someone comes in and completes the first step. So in that case, I'm going to go back to my dashboard here, and I'm going to just admire my closed cases. So when I come out here to my closed cases tab, I can see all of the scripts that I've completed. I can go back into any of them and view the steps or the data that was entered. And I can also still see which ones are part of a business process here. So that is it from the end user perspective. I know Jeremy has a few more things he wants to show as the administrator. Jeremy, do you want to take back screen?
Absolutely. All right. As I displayed earlier, you can see I'm in as an administrator and have a few more tabs available to me other than just my open cases and my closed cases. Specifically, I want to call out this kind of dashboard for all of the various business processes that are defined as part of this test phase. So this just gives me a different snapshot of all of the test scripts that have been associated with the business process. So the ones that have predecessors and that type of thing. And then it gives me kind of a percentage complete, so I can track the status of where all of those are, just to kind of give that snapshot. So I can see here I've got 3 of this OC Health Assign business process that Jackie just walked through. And if I double click into any one of these, I can see the various steps that are part of that, as well as who tested it and the current status of it. So I can see in this particular one that steps 1 and 2 have been completed, but step 3 has not been completed, and it hasn't even been claimed by anybody yet because there's no tester specifically assigned. Now, as a test admin, we can, of course, then specifically assign somebody to this if we want to, or we can just wait for somebody to claim it and process through. And again, here's one that's completely finished, and you can see that I completed all 3 steps of that. So again, just a kind of a nice overview of the various processes that you may be working through and might have defined as part of your test phase. This test cases tab is just a full list of all of the test cases that are within this test phase, and so it gives you that snapshot of the status. As with any of these list views, you can filter, search for any of those things that you might be looking for. So if you want to just track on all failed statuses, you can easily come out here, select the failed status, and get a quick report of everything that has been failed. Now, Jackie had worked through a test case previously, and she passed it, but she added a comment. Those will show up here on this needs review tab. And what this tab is for is really just to kind of, as us as consultants or the administrator or somebody responsible for overseeing that test phase, may want to drill in and look at the comments. I can drill in and I can see the specific test script and everything that's associated with it. This right here is the comment specifically that Jackie added. So if I look at that and I say, okay, step 4 needs editing, I look at step 4, I say, okay, that one looks fine, or maybe it's a spelling error or something like that. Once I do that, or whatever follow-up activity I need to do, I can now mark this as reviewed, and it gives me it makes me put in a comment here. So I'm just going to say that I corrected the step details. Optionally, I can send an email to Jackie, because Jackie is the one who submitted this comment, and the system would send an email. I'm just going to skip that for now and go ahead and click submit. Once I do that and mark that as reviewed, that test case has now fallen off my needs review tab because I no longer have to do anything with it. Those comments are always going to be visible. So if I were to go to that test case, and that particular test case was test 524. So just so you can see where those comments fall, and Jackie would have visibility to this as well. On the notes tab, there is the comments for review. So this is what Jackie had entered versus these are the follow-up comments that I have just entered. And so that is available here as part of that test case as well. Mentioned previously the issues. There are, if we do have the ability to default issue assignment based on that module within the system. But however, if there are some unassigned issues, I can come out here and review those. Again, I can see issues that are still open. These are the issues that are open but assigned to me specifically. And then here's a list of all of the issues within the test phase. So just different views of all the different issues that you can track within the system. Now what I want to do is I want to switch gears a little bit. So there is, I'm going back to my dashboard here. There is one test phase here that Jackie did not have visibility into. And we call this our templates phase. And this is the setup or the library of options and configurations. So there's a different view here. And this is really kind of the one-time setup, but even some ongoing maintenance that you can do. So you can see we've got a few different options here that we can set. But now here is kind of where we start. And again, this is all the setup thing pieces. So I'm going to jump over here to my test cases tab. This is the complete library of test cases that we have in our system and that we deploy with this. So it's across all modules, all work streams, and this library is continuing to grow as we build additional scripts and modifications. This, you can see all of the scripts are assigned to a module. Within the modules tab here, now these are all the system defined modules. So we have absence management, asset management, benefits. So across FSM and GHR, we've got all the modules listed here. I can flag which modules I am specifically using in my instance here. And when I do that, that gives me this planner tab, which is a filtered list of all of the test scripts. So I may be implementing FSM only, and I don't want to see all of the GHR scripts. And so I can turn off all those GHR modules and then really focus on this. This planner tab is really kind of the heart of building out your test phase. And what this enables you to do is define which scripts will be used for which test phase and how many copies of each script that you want. So as we were kind of going through, as Jackie was going through, you might have noticed that there are multiple copies of the same script. And so this planner is where we define that. And we'll walk through it in a moment here of building out a new test phase and what that looks like in that process and how this script gets from here within this planner into this specific test phase that we build out. But just to call out a couple of the other options that we've got out here. So all of our scripts were assigned to teams. And so this is where we define the teams. And this is going to be unique per organization, right? So really kind of whatever fits your need. And then so you set up those teams and then you assign people to those teams. And this is critical for my open test cases, right? So that I can come in, see a personalized view of the test cases that are just ready for me to test. And I don't need to see all of the benefits test scripts if I'm only focused on payroll test scripts, for example. Jackie mentioned the group metrics previously. This is where you would define those groups. So for example, if you wanted to look at individual teams' performances and metrics, you can do that as well. So groups are really groups of teams. So looking here at this human resources group, I've got the benefits, absence, compensation, and employee relations teams assigned to that. With the employee development, it is just the employee development group. So maybe we're focusing more on this. This will build out separate metrics just for this team and give us that visibility as well. Coming across to the business process tab, this is where we define the actual business processes and what scripts are a part of that. And if you look over here, we can see number of steps that are a part of that business process. So if I pick this one and drill into this, this is where I'm picking the individual test scripts to be sequenced together in this order, and can build that out as needed. This is similar to the planner tab, where I want to say, you know what, when I build this out for SIT, when I copy this into SIT, I want 3 copies of this business process. Now, because this business process has 5 steps in it, it ends up creating 15 scripts total, and they all get assigned and counted toward the metrics. So really then like I said, the heart of that is this planner phase where you're building out, you're selecting, okay, I want this script to be in SIT and I want 5 copies of it. So that is the administration side, the setup of the templates. One thing that I want to go into and touch on a little bit here, another piece that we're very excited about, I am looking specifically, one thing that we get asked about frequently is testing automation. So this is a piece that we've been working on as well. And I'm just going to show a couple of examples. I have one script here that I've got assigned to my automation team. So this is how I know I created this team, just so I know specifically that this is going to be an automated test script. What we're able to do is I can right click on this and choose execute script automation. And what that's going to do, you'll notice it changed the status to in progress. And in the background, it's kicking off a process that will go through and automatically run through the steps of that test script and report back on status. So think about this from a regression testing standpoint, where you've got monthly CUs that are coming out, or maybe it's the big ones in October and April that we're concerned about. We want to run a big regression test. We can do this automatically using this feature. While this is running, because this does take a few minutes to run in the background, I'm going to switch gears, and we're actually going to build out a brand new test phase. So right now I've got unit test and SIT, but I want to go ahead and create a new UAT test phase. So sorry, I jumped there really quick. So I'm just on my dashboard here. I'm going to go ahead and click the create button, and that's going to create this new test phase. I'm just going to call it UAT. And this is important here, this test phase type, because maybe you've got multiple UATs or multiple SITs, depending on how your project is going and what needs to be done. This corresponds with those options in the planner tab. I can give it a sequence just so that it shows in the order that I want it. And optionally, I can add some dates in here. So I'm just going to say, you know what, this is scheduled for November 10th through the end of the year. And I'm just going to go ahead and click save. Once I do that, it now has populated all of my tabs, which of course are all completely empty. If I go back into my templates phase, into my planner tab here, where I've gone through and I've said, yep, these are the scripts that I want for UAT, and I want 5 of them, et cetera, et cetera. I can now run this job, copy templates to phase, and I can say my phase that I want to copy all these templates to is UAT, and I can go ahead and click submit and let that do its thing. So that's going to kick off a background job. And if I come out here, you will see in a few moments that this data will start to populate, and the test cases will start to be built out into here as that job is running. While that's happening, I'm going to switch gears again and just dive right back into this SIT test phase and see how my script is doing. And if I refresh, it looks like it's still running. So we're going to let that finish. But eventually it would come back and give me my status of passed or failed. And that is that. And now we can see here, sorry, switching gears one more time. You can see my job is still running in the background, and I'm up to 337 scripts at the moment as we're going through, and it continues to go through and build those scripts. One of the key things to remember here is this is multiple copies of the same script for multiple people to do the same script. So the test script numbers and counts may seem high, but as you've got more people going through the test phase and doing those scripts, it makes sense. So that is really all of our high-level overviews. Actually, so now my one GHR script passed or completed at least. So we'll come out here, and I might have to come out to this test case list and find my script. Now you can see that I've got a status of passed, and that came in the background. If I drill into this, I actually have a results page that gives me a report of all of the steps and all of the different automation pieces that went through. So here it's navigating to HR talent, selecting the HR administration role, and so forth. This particular one is submitting a change pay rate action, navigating to their work assignment, and running through that change pay rate action down to where it calls that screen and enters those parameters as well. So that's it from the automation piece as well. And so that is our overview. Thank you for watching today. We are excited about this tool and hope that you are as well. And as always, if there are any questions, please don't hesitate to email us at questions@rpic.com.